Welcome to the session of the Systems of Indian Philosophy. Jainism, Metaphysics, Substance and Jiva. Jainism is an ancient religion and philosophy of India. Jainas are Nastikas and atheists because they reject the Veda Pramana and do not believe in God. As a religion, Jainism prescribes a path of peace and non-violence towards all living beings. As a contrast to Vedic schools, Jainism presents along with Buddhism a religion without God. The word Jainism is derived from the Sanskrit root Jaina, which means conquer, or Jaina means one who has successfully conquered his passions and desires and has obtained mastery over himself. The Jainas are the followers of Jaina. Dr. S. Radhakrishnan says, as the Buddhists are the followers of Buddha, the awakened, the Jainas are the followers of Jaina, the victor, a title applied to Vardhamana, the last prophet of the Jainas. It is applicable also to those men and women who have conquered their lower nature and realized the highest. The name Jainism indicates the predominantly ethical character of the system. The Jainas believe in 24 Tirthankaras. Of these, the first was Rishabhadeva and the last Vardhamana Mahavira. Mahavira is not the founder of Jainism, because even before him Jaina philosophy existed, but Mahavira gave a new direction and a definite structure to Jainism. Dr. P. T. Raju narrates the historical development of Jainism in his Structural Depths of Indian Thought. He observes, one of the important schools that developed out of the ideas of the non-Vedic thinkers who were called the bookless is Jainism, founded by Vardhamana. The Jains do not accept the reality of God, but only of gods who are treated as inferior to their religious leaders. These leaders are the teachers who are said to be 24, the 24th being Vardhamana. They are called Tirthankara, the first of them being Rishabha, whose name occurs in Vedas. He preached absolute non-violence and non-destruction of life even for food. If we allow 25 years for every teacher and assume that every next teacher was a disciple of the earlier, the concepts of Jainism must have started at least during the 12th century BC, that is, before the earliest of the Upanishads was composed. Since Jaimini, the founder of Mimamsa, and Badrayana, the founder of the Vedanta, belong roughly to the 4th or the 5th century BC, Vardhamana was earlier than both. His philosophy could not therefore have been a reaction to the philosophies as expounded by either. If the Jaina ideas started in the 12th century BC, when the earliest of the Upanishads was not even composed, then this school must have started as an independent thought and gone into conflict with the ideas of the sacrificial religion based on the first two parts of the Veda, although the ideas of the well-developed philosophy of Jaimini entered the scene later. The Upanishadic ideas, except that of the Supreme Spirit or God, must have been only in the making, and even the ideas of the Supreme Spirit must have been vaguely conceived. We may therefore conclude that the origins of the Jainism were a reaction against the Vedic religion of sacrifices and the wrong conception that ethical merit could be gained by performing sacrifices to gods, not merely by virtue of self-control. We have seen that sacrifices to gods were one of the obligations, and people perhaps thought that they produced ethical merit also, although it was pointed out that the payment of a debt did not produce any merit, while non-payment produced demerit. By the time of Vardhamana, the Aranyakas and a few of the early Upanishads must have been composed. The Jainism of Vardhamana was born and developed in the atmosphere of Vedic ideas, which were themselves developing, and Vardhamana gave Jainism a fairly definite form, although he did not write or compose a book. Up to the time of Vardhamana, his forerunners were called the bookless. Jainism is often referred to as Jaina Dharma or Sharman Dharma or the religion of Nirgrantha by ancient text. Mahavira life and teaching. Vardhamana Mahavira was born in 599 BC and died in 527 BC. He was elder contemporary of Buddha. His father was a Kshatriya chieftain and his mother was the daughter of king of Vaishali. From his early childhood, Mahavira has reflective mind. At the age of 28, he entered the spiritual career. Then he realized the transitory nature of the world and became an ascetic at the age of 32. He performed severe penance for 12 years and at last attained the enlightenment. Thereafter, he was recognized as the prophet of the Jainas. He then began to teach his doctrine to the people. The last 30 years of his life he passed in teaching his religious and philosophical systems and organizing his order of ascetics. Modern Jainism is regarded as a result of his teachings. Mahavira died at the age of 70 and left behind him a strongly organized religion. After his death, his followers spread all over India. The Jainas has originally no holy books, but the teachings of Mahavira began to be compiled after 200 years of his death. Jainism is one and undivided so far as its philosophy is concerned, but Jainism became split into two sects called the Digambaras and Swayamprabhas about the beginning of Christian era. The Digambaras maintained that the ascetic should give up all possessions, even clothes, whereas the Swayamprabhas hold that they should put on white clothes. The question or the problem of clothes versus no clothes led to the great division of the Jainas into the Swayamprabhas and Digambaras sects. The Digambaras hold that perfect saints live without food and clothes. According to Digambaras, a monk who owns any property such as wearing clothes cannot reach nirvana. They represent the Tirthangara as nudes, unadorned and with downcast eyes, and they believe that Vardhamana never married. The Digambaras disowned the canonical books of the Swayamprabhas and themselves possess none. But the Swayamprabhas do not accept the extreme views of the Digambaras. During the centuries that followed, further minor splits took place among both these sects. Text and literature. Vardhamana did not write anything, but his followers collected his speech and teachings together, expounded and gave exegesis to his thoughts. The followers of Mahavira first composed many of their works on ethics and religious practice in the spoken language of Western India, but many of the later works are written in Sanskrit. Radhakrishnan says, "The faith was preserved in men's minds as usual. The knowledge of the scriptures was slowly decaying till in the 4th century BC the need for the fixing the canon was keenly felt. A council met for the purpose at Pataliputra near the end of the 4th century BC. Though the final form of the canon is due to the council at Vallabhai, presided over by Devrath some 800 years later, about 454 AD. 84 works are recognized as belonging to the canonical literature. Among them are 41 sutras, a number of pragirnakas or unclassified works, 12 Niryuktisor commentaries, 1 Mahabhashya or the great commentary. The 41 sutras include the 11 Angas, the 12 Ubangas, the 5 Chedas, the 5 Moolas and 8 miscellaneous works such as Bhadrabhav's Kalpasutra. These were in Ardha-Magadhi, but Sanskrit became a favorite language of Jainism after the Christian era. According to the Digambaras, it was in AD 57 that the sacred lore was reduced to writing, when those learned in it were not available and the only sources of information were what people remembered about the saying of Vardhamana and the Kaivalyans. The scriptures relating to the 7 tattvas, the 9 padarthas, the 6 dravyas and 5 astigayas were formed on their basis. The main other works are number 1 Tattvavarta Sutra by Umaswati, number 2 Malishena's Shadvada Manjari, number 3 Haribhadra's Sadarshana Samuchaya, number 4 Yashovaidya's Jaina Tarkabhasha. Metaphysics. Substance. The Jaina metaphysics is realistic and relativistic pluralism. For the Jaina philosophers, everything is a substance. Matter and spirit are regarded as separate and independent realities. According to Jainism, a substance is that which possesses qualities and modes. C.D. Sharma explained the Jaina concept of substance in his critical survey of Indian philosophy. He writes, "A thing has many characters and it exists independently. It is called substance or dravya. It persists in and through all attributes and modes. Substance is defined as that which possesses qualities and modes. Out of these innumerable qualities of a substance, some are permanent and essential, while others are changing and accidental. The former are called attributes or guna and the later modes paryaya. Substance and attributes are inseparable because the latter are the permanent essence of the substance and cannot remain without it. Modes or modifications are changing and accidental. Reality is a unity and difference, or difference and unity. Viewed from the point of view of the substance, a thing is one and permanent, and real viewed from the point of view of modes. It is many and momentary and unreal." C.D. Sharma compared the Jaina concept of substance with Buddhism and Vedanta. He says, "Jainism here becomes a theological mean between Brahmanism and early Buddhism. Brahmanism emphasizes the one, the permanent, the real. Early Buddhism emphasizes the many, the changing, the unreal. Jainism points out that both are the two sides of the same thing. Substance, therefore, is also defined as that which possesses the three characteristics of production, destruction and permanence. Substance has its unchanging essence and therefore is permanent, but it also has its changing modes and therefore is subject to origination and decay. To mistake any one-sided and partial view as the whole truth is to commit the fallacy of Ekantavada. As Jainism takes into account all these partial views, it is called Anekantavada. The whole universe is brought under the two eternal and coexisting categories which are called Jiva and Ajiva. Jiva is characterized by consciousness and life. Ajiva is characterized by the opposite of Jiva. As substance, they are one, but one is with life and the other without life. Consciousness is the essential nature of Jiva and non-consciousness is the essential common feature of the Ajiva. Jiva and Ajiva are known as Astigaya Dravyas because it is extended in space, while time is the only Anastigaya Dravya because time has no extension in space. Jiva or the soul. Jainas use the words Jiva and Atman in the same sense. Consciousness is regarded as the essence of the soul. The Atman, not the physical body, is the agent of action and is also the enjoyer of the fruit. The Atmans are infinite in number. The Jainas reject the Advaitic concept of the oneness or non-duality of Atmans, and the Jainas reject reality of God and all the proofs for the existence of God. According to Jainas, the degree of consciousness of Atmans may vary according to the obstacles of karma. The lowest souls appear to be lifeless and unconsciousness, but in fact life and consciousness are present in them in a dominant form. The purest consciousness found only in the emancipated souls where there is no shred of karma. The soul in its intrinsic nature possesses Ananda Chadustaya. In the case of bounded souls, the Ananda Chadustaya are obscured by karma. According to Jainism, the soul is an extended substance. This is a special doctrine of Jainism. For the Jainas, the extent of the soul is the same as that of the body. The soul of an ant is the size of the ant body, and the soul of an elephant as big as the elephant itself. This peculiar doctrine is explained with the help of the analogy of a lamp. The flame of a lamp illuminates the room in which it is kept, and if the lamp is moved into a large hall, its light expands and pervades that hall. Association with matter affects the nature of the soul. Since there are many bodies, there are many souls. One soul cannot occupy more than one body. P.T. Raju explained the Jainas' concept of soul. The Atman, although not a material substance, is an extended substance. It occupies the space which the body occupies and is only as big or as small as the body. That is, the Atman of the ant is as small as the ant and that of the elephant as big as the elephant. However, it does not fill space like matter, but is only present in every bit of the material body. By nature, it is infinite, but it can contract or expand, being determined by its actions. It is omniscient also by nature, but its infinite consciousness gets limited by its actions. Action is understood by the Jainas as a kind of dust, the particles of which stick to the Atman, which is like a pure white cloth, and veil its consciousness. The Jainas speak of particles of karma. According to Jainism, freedom of the soul from matter is the emancipation. C.D. Sharma says, though we find souls in this world as embodied and as possessing the senses and the manas which help the soul to know, yet really the body, the senses and the manas are obstructions placed by karma and hinder the souls in their direct knowledge. Knowledge is not a property of the soul, it is its very essence. Every soul, therefore, can directly and immediately know everything if it is not obstructed by matter. Freedom from matter means omniscience and emancipation. The liberated soul is known as the muktas and bounded soul is known as baddhas. The bound souls are further divided into mobile and immobile. The stavara lives in the vegetables kingdom and has only one sense, that of touch. The mobile souls are again classified of those who have 2 senses, 4 senses and 5 senses. Now, let us summarize. This unit explains the history of Jainism. It also highlights the life and teachings of Vardhamana Mahavira, the elder contemporary of Buddha. Jaina metaphysics is realistic and relativistic pluralism. Jaina philosophers considered everything as substance. According to them, the whole universe comes under 2 eternal categories, namely Jiva and Ajiva. This unit gives a detailed account of the notions of the Jiva or the soul. The souls are of 2 types, Mukta and Baddha. Jainism is a religion without a belief in God. Here are some questions for you to work out. Number 1. Give an account of the Astigeya substances in Jainism. Number 2. Jainism is a religion without belief in God. Explain. Number 3. Describe the concept of substance in Jaina philosophy. Number 4. Explain Jaina concept of Jiva. Number 5. Give a short account of the history of Jainism. Here are a few books for your reference. Number 1. Indian Philosophy, Volume 1, Dr. S. Radhakrishnan, Oxford, page 286. Number 2. Structural Depths of Indian Thought, P.T. Raju, page 104. Number 3. Indian Philosophy, Volume 1, Dr. S. Radhakrishnan, Oxford, pages 288 and 289. Number 4, A Critical Survey of Indian Philosophy, C. D. Sharma, page 51. Number 5, S. N. Dasgupta, History of Indian Philosophy, Volume 5, Cambridge. Number 6, S. T. Stevenson, The Heart of Jainism. Number 7, Amulya Chandrasen, Schools and Sects in Jaina Literature. Thank you for watching this program. We will meet in another session with another topic in philosophy. Bye.